Yeah, I'm your Black Lex today, baby. Now you ain't never gotta like me, that shit is overrated. You need a hero to love, I'll be the villain that you hated. When it's all said and done, you gon' love me. Me kissing babies, fucking ladies thinking of me. Cause I'm the villain, the bad guy, the one that's supposed to lose. But I'm American, baby, so the rules all skewed for me. Steal your identity, fuck up your credit for free. Police know it's stolen, but they still make you pay the fee. And you don't respect me, for real? I'm the one that's showing you what the real world is. All these backroom deals for your kids' future. My financial aid hustle keep your kids mooching. And why you motherfuckers still stupid? The Statue of Liberty married the country, divorced and now the bitch still moving. With half of the money, alimony, child support. You know what's up when I be winning in the court, cause I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, H&I-C, everybody wants to be. Damn right, I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, H&I-C, everybody wants to be. They try to tell me thou shalt not steal. In the same church they tell me Jesus white, is they for real? They try to say the land of the free, minus the slavery, plus the fact that you pay for land these folks stole for free. And you wanna be Superman. Did you forget that Lex Luthor became the president? You lacking common sense, that's why the villain lives. That's why the villain's right. They turn on Superman, man, they turn on Jesus Christ. Even the devil got teams like Arizona State, Duke, the state of Jersey. That man say you're sold and he can't get a jersey. Y'all go to church on Sunday and you claim you're worthy. That's why I got my credit and I'm charging 10%. You finish paying me and you gon' pay me triple, bitch. So why'd I be a hero when a villain gets paid? And women like paid, so the villain gets laid. So I'ma be the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, H&I-C, everybody wants to be. Damn right, I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, H&I-C, everybody wants to be. What's happening? You know, L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, you see the title. You know, y'all know what this gonna be about if you've been on this particular topic in social media. For me, this is a problem to me. You know, this is a huge problem. It's like, you know, you have black people every time that somebody white says something and it's disparaging toward the black community, you have black people who just gotta, you know, they're the number one pick in the coon draft. You know, they gotta, hey man, I gotta look, man, let me tell you black people about these, because white people don't like you black people, and I understand why white people don't like you, because I don't like you. It's like, listen, bro, men, women, who cares? The reason why this becomes a problem is because for the most part, y'all just making up things to be offended about that's not going on in your day-to-day life. You know how people say 6 degrees of separation? A lot of this stuff that you see white America going off about when it comes to black America, it's usually a news story that's nowhere near them. Usually. Like, y'all don't want to deal with the reality. The white people who have complaints don't live around black people. They don't really interact with black people. The closest they might come to being around black people is if their kids are in middle school or high school. That's it. Other than that, every now and then, maybe at a grocery store. So this idea that, oh, we're tired of black people. Don't nobody want to hear that, because those type of people want to be predominantly around white people. They seek out predominantly white environments. So what do they get offended by? The news and social media. Did you hear about this story that happened all the way, 2,000 miles away? We're sick of you black people. Oh, shut up. But this is but the issue becomes, you have black people all of a sudden, because it on social media it pays. Like, you gotta be a sellout. You gotta be a coon. And how I know, because I'm tired of all of the cooning. How I know is because, you know, you are highly critical of black people doing one thing, but when everybody else does it, and I'm not talking about just white people. If whites, Hispanics, Asians, hell, Samoans do the Humpty Hump, it doesn't. If any other group does something, it's not a big deal, even when it's degenerate. And here's where this is why this is a problem, because you black people who got this sellout spirit, y'all always reference, whether implicitly or explicitly, you need to be more like white people. See, white people don't do that. And this is what white people do. And white people do this. And why can't we do what these white people do? White people do a lot of degenerate stuff, though. Oh, y'all don't. But that's the stuff we're not supposed to talk about. Man, what's going on, fam? Sorry about yesterday. It was Mother's Day. I was out. So sorry. I didn't even call you back. So my apologies. But, you know, they want to act like having good manners is, white people be mannerable like white people. Yeah, but when white people out here disrespecting people, and then you get, because that's part of their culture also, being disrespectful, being passive aggressive, that's a normal thing in white culture. Invading people's space, invading people's privacy, that's a normal thing. Now when you do it, if you do it, oh, it's their culture. So it's like, hey man, look, I'm tired of y'all, man. I'm tired of y'all in this fake, this fake fatigue stuff. You don't want to, I don't want to be around them YNs. I understand that. You don't, because it does look dumb. I can say that. Bunch of teenagers and young adults running around here with ski masks on, but they got to be in particular. But here's the interesting thing about that. Do you know how many of them kids in the suburbs that people don't take seriously, but gotta take seriously because they walk around with ski masks on? Just, just, just a thought. Because see, a lot of y'all play this. My kids act like, I'm gonna raise my children right. Okay, you gonna raise your children right, like the white folks, right? hmm So when they have a prescription drug addiction, raise them right. When they became lawless and criminal minded, you raise them right. See, here's the thing that these sellouts don't talk about. If you get really into emulating white culture, you're gonna be disrespectful to rules. Because white people don't, in a general sense, they don't abide by rules. So a lot of this stuff that y'all, you guys, you men and women with the sellout spirit, y'all really don't, y'all are always breaking rules. Y'all are anti order and structure. Y'all are anti religion. I know y'all like to play like y'all like God, but it don't, like, God is like, you're gonna be the God I want you to be. You know what I'm saying? So we have too many sellouts who play too many games. Let me reel this in and be more focused. So you mean to tell me every time that there's a news story that's racial, between a black person and a white person, all of you sellouts gotta talk about it? Whether when you know the evidence, when you don't know the evidence, you got to talk about it and you got to put a judgment on it, and it's got to be racial. And when you're wrong, you can't be wrong, because you got to make it about something completely different. If you're right, then you're right about every black person ever. You know, so this is the issue, because when you flip the race, it's an isolated incident. But somehow you find all of these racial incidents when you call, say, people are pulling the race card or people are race baiting, but you are a primary part of it, because anytime something racial happens, you there, you know, sounding the alarm, yelling on the bullhorn, making it extra racial. These are the laws in America, you know. And if black people abided by those laws, uh, uh, no, it's wrong. If white people abided by those laws, and it's towards a black person, that's what they get. Hispanic to a black person, that's what they get. Asian to a black person, that's what they get. So people get tired of it. Like, I don't even watch this stuff like that. But it becomes an issue because the hypocrisy of it is tiring. It's aggravating. It becomes aggravating over and over and over and over again, because you hear people who, for some odd reason, you know, they have a real stick up their butt about disliking black people, black Americans in particular, right? And whenever they can find something that they think is a great thing, they go for it, you know. But here's the problem. They find themselves in these exact same situations. And they playing with fire. And this is what I mean. You know, like some of these people, they'll say stuff like, you know, if black people interact with the police, you know, if you knew how to just have good manners, you wouldn't have an issue. So what do? Y'all get on social media, you get in the car, you purposely get pulled over, you got a damn bulletproof vest on and a gun holster, everything on you, like you ready for a gunfight, and you filming the interaction. Like, yes, I have a gun, sir. Yes, and the one that worked well, the interaction that went well is the one you post. But you don't post the ones where you almost get shot. And this is what I mean by black sellout fatigue. Because especially like on YouTube, I've been on YouTube for a minute. They used to do that stuff. White guy will walk with an assault rifle down the street. Black guy will walk with an assault rifle down the street. You know how we don't have to discuss. The white guy had a stern talking to. The black guy, guns was out. He was all on the pavement. If you move, you're getting shot. So we know this already, but y'all wanna make up black people are acting this way and acting that way. But if you act like you got some sense, then these things will never happen. It's like no. Stop just posting the good interactions. Post the ones when you almost got cracked upside the head. Post the one when you almost got shot. That count too, right? So this is what I mean, black sellout fatigue. Because what people act like, if you're black, somehow all you have to do is change the tone of your voice and talk like this and say, hi, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. What are you doing? I'm having a great day. Does anybody want waffles? I like waffles. I like waffles and yogurt in the morning. And I had a smoothie. Do you want a smoothie? I have kale. I have celery. I have apples and oranges. You see, black people? White people love you when you act like this. It's like, man, if you don't get up out of here. And then you wind up in a situation, you know, like Jason Whitlock with Nick Fuentes, who's a Hispanic. Who Hispanics could be considered white, but who's a Hispanic who wants white people to love him so much, calling Jason Whitlock, basically an affirmative action hire to racism. And it's like, hey, are you going to bring up the buttery, is it the buttery gut love? What is it? The buttery goodness of God now? Because as Christians, since you two both are Christians, you can see eye to eye because God. No, people are tired of it. People are tired of y'all. If a black father is absent, oh, look at all these black fathers as a problem. If a black father is present, oh, these black fathers are overbearing. Okay, right, okay. If a black mother is a single mother, oh, look at these 304s. They're just bad mothers. If a black woman is a married wife, oh, whatever. She's just she doesn't really know anything. She's just submitting and she doesn't know how to do anything. It's like, oh, okay. See, there's not a balance. It's always a lose-lose. It's a lose when you fit the stereotype, and it's a lose when you the opposite of the stereotype. You meet somebody who you consider dumb. Oh, yeah, all these black people are stupid. You meet somebody who's smart. Oh, you're really not that smart. You don't really know what's really going on. It's like, oh, okay. And it becomes an issue. And this is, I'm saying black people are doing this. And one of my most irritating things is with these black folks with this sellout spirit is y'all are trolls. Y'all are antagonizing little trolls. And what you do is you communicate with black folks and you start being disrespectful and condescending. And you expect the more disrespectful I am and the more condescending, you're supposed to handle yourself like a civilized adult. But hold on, but you're acting uncivilized. See, we could just have a conversation with different opinions. No. But you got to be an asshole about it. Because you got to go see, you should learn how to be like white people. White people can be assholes to people and they don't have to cuss them out about it. Yeah, right. So to be a respectable black person, I got to let you talk to me disrespectfully and recklessly and condescending. And me just go, oh, okay, for you to act like, oh, I'm a respectable human being. No, you're an asshole. And when white people call you an asshole, you don't say nothing because you a scared little asshole. So now we have this issue because like I said, black sellout fatigue. People are tired of y'all. Yeah. And it's weird. We know you're going to get on certain programs. You're going to get on certain networks. You're going to get on certain shows because you're the stereotypical troll. You're going to do certain videos on YouTube and social media. It's going to be a thing. If a black person almost kills a white person or kills a white person, oh, they're evil, they're savages. Now we become gorillas and chimps and yada, yada, yada. White person kill a black person, it's a joke. Oh, well, well he shouldn't have been cutting the grass that morning. he shouldn't have been in the Chick-fil-A line that day. The chicken was good though, huh? Like it's that type of stuff. So it's like, oh, I get it. Yeah, man, I get it. And I'm gonna say this, and from my vantage point, this is also an issue. A lot of this, the black sellouts, and I've said this before, y'all come off as weak. And what I mean is not just your attitude, but y'all come off as weak. weak human beings. Y'all the type of human beings who, you let yourself go and you got insecure. Or you're really weak-minded and insecure. So your issue has really nothing to do with race. Your issue has something to do with your personal insecurities. But you can't, but the only people you can quote unquote uh uh throw under the bus or kick while they're down is black people. So we become your virtual punching bag because some of y'all got, you know, some of y'all got weight issues. You're overweight. So, racism is your thing. Or you're overly you're super I can't say it. Yes, you're super weak. Like you're not the person that can actually physically do anything to somebody. So you you're using your words as a way to fight because you can't. You get what I'm saying? Or I've seen you folks out here who you're trying to find your masculinity nowadays by doing this trolling sellout this stuff. And then or you're unattractive. So now I gotta do what I gotta do to get attention. And some of y'all, some of you men and some of you women, more times it be the black men than the black women. Some of y'all got these little weird sexual issues. So that's y'all thing. So now y'all are overly loving. You know. Oh, you wanna bring your ass up here? Because I mean, okay. See, I had you know. So either you African or somebody white. It's one or the other. But this is the whole thing, man. Sellouts, sellouts. Everything white good. Everything black bad. And when white people do something bad, it's well, they were acting like they were black. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. When black people do something good, oh, they were acting like they were white. Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Because we have this whole thing with the culture argument. Black people have a criminal culture. You do realize, like we're not the ones who make statues for criminals, whether they be real criminals or fictional characters. You get what I'm saying? It let's just say let me let's see what is the show like The Wire, right? The Wire or Snowfall. It's a show about drugs in the streets, right? You do understand that uh, okay, all right fam, okay, my bad. um by your message I thought you was talking about me, so that's why I approached it like that. But okay, my bad, my apologies. you know so let me double back to the culture thing. It's If you go in what Albuquerque, New Mexico, they made a statue for Breaking Bad, two of them. You know, hey man, it was a great show about dealing drugs in in New Mexico. It's like, oh, interesting. Interesting. Mount Rushmore, criminals. I know y'all founding fathers who slave owners. You know, pretty much. Well, I don't think all of them were, but three out of four. Three out of four. If I recall right. So let me look that up real quick. Cause I sometimes I have my moments. Yeah, George Washington, slave owner. Thomas Jefferson, pedophile slave owner. So 2 out of 4. Teddy Roosevelt wasn't, and I don't think, and Abraham Lincoln wasn't. But 2 out of 4 to Mount Rushmore. Well, yeah, so that's why I say, man, my bad. That's why I say my apologies. But when I'm wrong, I'm gonna say I'm wrong. So once again, sorry. Um, so now we got this issue where Breaking Bad, you got a statue for drug dealing, and Breaking Bad is based on a true story, just like Snowfall is. But that's not a cultural issue somehow. It's not a cultural issue. And to me, I'm like, no, that is a culture issue. Because what winds up happening is when you have these black sellouts, it's like, come on, dog. Even when white people do criminal stuff, it's not looked at as criminal by black sellouts, but white culture in general, but all the sellouts. If white people do criminal stuff, it's not criminal behavior. And that's not fair and balanced like Fox News, which is not fair and balanced. What up? So now we got issues because for me, you get tired of it. I get tired of somebody makes and especially when white women make videos. When white women make videos, oh boy, it's like the inner coon soul comes out. Oh God, white woman, oh, we gotta come to her defense. Like, whatever, dog. You know, and here's the interesting thing. Like like I'm not even gonna say white, non-black people who have like just they pay so much attention to everything they say black people do. It's usually like a sexual thing. It's usually a sexual thing, and I'm like, okay, like go mind your business. And this is what I mean. I've seen this with I don't even want to. I've seen this with Hispanics, Asian, with whites, Hispanics, and Asians, where they'll see somebody black who's attractive, and they'll talk it down, and then they'll see somebody black who's unattractive, and oh my God, they lose their mind. Oh, they look terrible. Oh, they're ugly. Oh my God. Oh, nobody. And even when black people are attractive, they do that too. But the issue is this: when you put yourself in a situation where what it actually is that you're not that attractive, and the best you got is disparaging them. Case in point, watch what I say. Michelle Obama. It's only these sellouts and conservatives and ugly other people that go, oh, she's a man. She's Michelle is actually a man. Like, really? She's a man? Seriously? So, and this is what I mean by the sellout fatigue and the sellout logic. So Michelle Obama's a man. Yeah, she's a man. Doesn't you know that? Okay, so who's the mother of the 2 kids? If you could, if you want to say she ugly, say she ugly. But to say she a man, tell me who's the actual mother to the kids. Who's there? Because there's a surrogate, they adopted. What we talking about here? Oh, she's, and it's like, no, you're not attracted to her, and you might not be attracted to her face. Cool, she's not, she's not cute in the face for a 60, close to 60-year-old woman, right? That's what we talking about. But look at your damn family. I'm sorry, ain't that many people in your family that's cute in the face at 35. So what we talking about right now? I know what y'all talking about, because when she was the first lady, she was thick. That's what happened. She had body for a first lady, and it was a problem. So she became a man because she was actually more attractive than the average first lady. So, but because of Michelle, it's an issue. You know, uh, Trump's wife got in there. It's like, oh my God, we finally got a good looking white one. I don't know when the last time they had one. I mean, you know, 'cause the last woman I could think of that was beloved was like Eleanor Roosevelt. I want to say, you get what I'm saying? Because I know Betty Ford had issues, and I think Reagan's wife, Nancy Reagan, had. I don't think Nancy Reagan had issues. She was. I think she did a lot of cool things, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes it slips my mind, but it is what it is. But hold up. Sorry about that. Yeah. I mean, their statues out of pocket. And when people make statues about black people, it's never. I'm be honest. People making statues of black people in the last, I don't know, 15 years, it's been terrible. Like if you're gonna make a statue about somebody black, get the people that do the Hall of the NFL Hall of Fame, because these other folks can't do nothing. Martin Luther King statue was janky. you know, got Dwayne Wade statue janky. Like who else? Who else had a statue recently that they made a couple of Martin Luther King statues actually that was just horrible. This statue is just like this stuff is purposeful. And the people who are sellouts, they go, oh, look at the black woman, look how the black woman is. Yeah. It's a reason why they just put that shit out in the middle of the night and had people just walk up to it the next day. They didn't want to take credit for it because they knew it was janky. That's what happened. No, Dwayne Wade don't deserve a janky statue. He don't. No, he don't. The Dwayne Wade we see now is not the Dwayne Wade we was fans of. I understand, but he don't. You know. Yeah. George Floyd statue. I mean, oh man, I could go somewhere with that. Even with the George Floyd situation. Oh, he was on fentanyl. Stop it, dog. Stop it. Stop it. He might have died with fentanyl in his system, but he wasn't on fentanyl when all that happened. Y'all act like y'all ain't seen a person on drugs before. That becomes a problem. We know how people on drugs act. There's a difference. If you're a weed smoker, you might not be high right now, but you got weed in your system. If you're on cocaine, you might not be high now, but it's cocaine in your system. If you're on opioids, you might not be on them right now, but it's still in your system. Acid, it's all the same thing. So, people play these games, and it's a bunch of sellouts. It's like, come on, yeah, stop playing with me, gang. Yeah, exactly. Stop playing with me. I mean, there's a lot of people that could have statues in America that are black that have dealt with injustice. You get what I'm saying? And I could just run down and Emmett Till could have a statue. Fred Hampton can have a statue. Ooh, I just thought about it. Huey Newton could have a statue. What was the Martin Luther King's brother Alfred? The way he died was so suspicious. Could have a statue. Medgar Evers could have a statue. Remember the kid? Was it George Stinney, the 13-year-old that in Mississippi that they gave the electric chair? knowing it was dead wrong, could have a statue. Fast forward, Trayvon Martin could have a statue. Tamir Rice could have a statue. You get what I'm saying? Dude, you could have just asked for the link. Because I know you was trying to be a disrespectful little jerk, but I'll give you the link. But if I see you but please tell me we're in the same city so I could punch you in your face. Please. Do you want the link? Yeah, Malcolm could have a statue. Rodney could have, yeah, I mean it's a lot of people that can have a statue, man. I forgot the brothers, what is the brother's name? The one they made a show about that learned how to be a lawyer in prison because he got framed. He could have a statue. Hold that thought. Copy. You see, I asked the question. Well, Vaughn, where did you go? Do you want the link or not? But a lot of this stuff becomes an issue. I think Ali got a statue because I know Jesse Owens got a statue in Germany, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a lot of stuff that goes on with Black America in general that people have to overcome. That is always, we try to play around and overlook it. Like I think about that with Sean, like the football player Sean Oakman. Nobody ever fixed that situation for him. It ruined him. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who get in a lot of janky situations and people just roll with it. And it's like, nah, I can't do that. I can't do that. So what winds up happening is you got Black people who learn that, hey man, it's profitable to dump on Black folks. Like, let me say this. This too. Let me see you on the camera or something, because it's just black right now. Are you there? Is this Vaughn though? Cut the camera on, fool. You in the back chat. Cut the camera on. Is this Vaughn? Yeah, Sean Oakman did get screwed. See what I'm saying, man? So you're gonna be one of the people that's just gonna play stupid, huh? Okay. If you do something sideways and mess this chat up, dude, we'll have an issue.
I ain't doing shit.
Yeah, okay. So what's your problem?
Ain't got no problem.
You got a problem.
No, I ain't got no problem.
Are you Vaughn?
I am Vaughn.
So what's your problem?
Ain't got no problem. Ain't got no problem at all, brother.
We not brothers. Speak your piece. You wanted the link, right?
Yeah.
Okay, speak your piece.
I just want to talk to you
About
what you talked about.
So speak your piece.
I didn't even know what you talked about.
You don't know what I'm talking about now?
Yeah, correct. You got a good voice. I mean, you've got a radio voice. It's cool.
That has nothing to do with the topic.
What's the topic?
All right, man. Man, this motherfucker tripping. Here we go with the shenanigans, though. Get out of here, man. So now it's the same thing. Advice on getting it. Ooh, that ain't on topic, but I got you. Okay, depends on what you starting at. I'll tell you that. Some people could work the rigs or whatever. Some people could work in the building when it comes to oil and gas. So if you apply like an entry-level position in a building, it's, you know, there you'll get some hiring. Usually the roughnecks get more of the hiring though. So if I would say that, it's a gang of companies, bro. Because I remember Chevron used to be at Chevron, uh, BP, um, shoot, Chevron, BP, Schlumberger. Um, Schlumberger is like shipping though; it's not necessarily oil and gas, but there's a bunch of like small companies that are multi-billion-dollar companies in Texas. So, if you go to Chevron, Phillips 66, um, Schlumberger is more like shipping and stuff like that. You can apply for a lot of stuff there, bro. A lot of stuff there. The rigs is, the rigs like the oil rigs, but usually that's further outside of the city near the Gulf. Sometimes it's further on land, and sometimes it's in the Gulf. So it's one of those things where you can apply that way. Usually working with the actual, working with the petroleum and whatnot pays more because you out there working it. But it's one of those some people's like, I want to say 7 days on, 7 days off, 30 days on, 40 days. It depends on where you're at though. But them guys make some bread, player. That's the best I can give you for right now. Because it's a difference between people working in the building and people working in the field. And it's the trucking part of it too, because it's the transport part of it too. So you can apply for any one of those things. And that's the crazy part about it. And if anybody, even if y'all got a record, y'all can work in oil and gas. And that's a true statement. And I'm not saying you do, but I'm just saying for people who don't know, they hire a lot. But it's sometimes it's seasonal though. You know what I'm saying? Working them rigs. But it's all good. Getting back to the topic. The black sellout fatigue becomes an issue. It becomes an issue because it becomes an issue because let me be nicer about this. Sometimes those people who we consider sellouts and coons, they actually have a good perspective on certain things. The issue is though, they coon so much and they sell out so much that people don't listen to them because they like, oh, you already get tuned out because you be like, the last 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times I've seen clips of you, it's been some BS. So even if you say something that's right that we all agree with, you done already said 4, 5, 6, 7 things that were completely dead ass wrong. So people don't take you seriously, and that becomes an issue. What you talking about, Astro? My bad. Pop. So we wind up in that situation now where it's like, hey man, people are sick of it. People are sick of the sellouts because they're really not on point. They're really not on point when it comes to actual information. They're not on point when it comes to getting a good point across. They're not on point when it comes to actually being consistent. You know what I'm saying? They're very inconsistent people. So it's like, if the sky is blue, then the sky is blue. If water is wet, then water is wet. But the sky is blue when it's white people, and then the sky, but the sky is not blue when it's black people. Water is wet when it's white people, but water is not wet when it's black people. And it's like, y'all are too inconsistent to pay attention to. So that's why I say people get tired of the sellouts. Oh man, no. Man, it's all good, fam. I was just double checking. So we wind up in this situation. I got you. We wind up in this situation where you get tired of that. And a lot of times this is another thing with the trolling with black sellouts. A lot of times the sellout stuff is controversial, so it's viral. It's controversial takes, it's contrarian takes, so it makes it viral because it's triggering type of material. So it's like, oh, here we go again. Like, how do I get? It's a balancing act. So you got people who, when I say like sellouts and coons, it's normally two things. They're gonna talk relationships, then they're gonna talk like race as in a political sense. So then what's gonna wind up happening is they're gonna talk relationships, and it's gonna go viral talking about relationships, and then and then and then when that dies down, oh, we're gonna get into the political part. Let's talk politics, or race baiting type of issues, and bang, bang, bang. You know, Tatum and yeah, yeah, yeah. You could say that. Like, you could definitely say that. I just thought about you talking about, yeah, because Brandon Tatum, um, like he does that selling out stuff, and it's I don't know why. I've never understood hiding. Like, I think Brandon Tatum hides cooning behind a religion, and I think the Hodge twins hide cooning behind comedy, right? So because it's BS, because even with the Hodge twins, they kind of it was kind of like they were working out, and they were entertaining because they were funny. Then they went on the road to be comedians, and then somewhere along being quote unquote comedians, it just turned to let's diss black folks, and it's like, all right, man, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. If you're a comedian, you can talk about, if you're gonna get into comedy, you talk about a lot of different things, but that's their shtick. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, okay. Brandon Tatum is just like, you know, and that's the thing about the Hodge twins. They were more diverse when they wasn't racial. When everything wasn't, they were more diverse. But now it's like, you know, they didn't let themselves go. They didn't got fat and became extra racial. but they was acting all extra hood back in the day. It don't even make sense. Brandon Tatum is like, it's the same thing, let itself go, got extra racial, everything is, if it's white and God, and it's like, oh, okay, whatever, you know. But if white people do something ungodly, it's not a big deal with them. So they don't stand on principles. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean by the sellout fatigue. A lot of these people don't stand on principles. Race is their principle. And so it's not to be taken seriously. It's just not to be taken seriously. So it's like, what are we talking about now? And it's sad to say that, but that's what it is. But for me as a person, just, it's tiring because it's predictable. Like, same thing, like I say, like Charleston White, predictable. I got to be over the top. Yeah, sometimes I get the method behind the madness, but a lot of that stuff is unnecessary. But it's just to go viral. But it's predictable. You get what I'm saying? And here's the interesting thing. And especially with the the sellouts or the coons, they don't present themselves as a stereotypical hood black person, but a lot of them is just mad niggerish. They just try to be like a suburban version of niggerish, and it's like, I'm not like, it's not a bit, like, go on with that, they sell out niggerish, they coon niggerish. It's like, okay, but I'm not like those black people. you're kind of worse. You're kind of worse, you know. Just because you have a suburban tone, or some of y'all want to have a country tone, because it's not just people like I sometimes some of the because I've seen that with black folks, like country black folks, you know, people in the country, you can have a country accent, but then when you see the ones, well, I'm trying too hard, man. Listen, man, y'all just don't know how to good these white folks hard, man. It's like, oh, I get it, bro. I understand. I get it now. I understand, dog. You over there brown nosing. It's like, it's an issue. It becomes an issue. And for a person like just looking at content, it's like it's tiring. You know, uh, it's Alabama accent. Like you know how people had it. You got country folks who are black. You got country folks that are white, and you know the black folks that that have the country white accent, and it's like, oh, okay, okay, I get it, bro. I get it. So we have that issue. Same thing, they're not the only ones. Like sometimes you have let's just say the rebellious or the criminal element, you know, and somehow they turn into sellouts. You know, black people need to get it together. Black people need to stop doing this. Like, hold up, stop saying black people. That's you. See, you got yourself in a lot of shit because you was wild and reckless, and you was caught up in being a hood nigga. That's you, bro. Like, stop putting that on every black person when you was the one out here cutting up. You know, so don't put that on folks. You get what I'm saying? Like some of these folks play this game. That's why I say it's fatigue, because some of these folks play you know, we all black people. We need to stick together, black folk, and they sellouts too. Like it's the same thing where you got the people who, try to, we need to be united. Black people need to stick together, and they stabbing black folks in the back, and then they turn around when they get ostracized, go see white people stick together. It's like, no, 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 no. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. You're a scam artist. You're a scumbag. Just because you can get on social media and say white people stick together, white people don't mess with people that scam all the time. They ostracize them too. I don't know what your issue is. You act like everybody just supposed to be screwed over because we need to be more like them white folks. No, don't nobody need to get hustled and scammed by you. No, absolutely not. So that's black sellout fatigue, and then, it's no nice way to say what I'm about to say. And then we have the people. Dang, I really didn't want to go down this path. I'm sorry, y'all. Uh, uh, just give me a second on that. Boy, oh boy, I'm sorry. Then we have the sellout people that I'm personally tired of. As the sellout Christians, the sellout religious folks. They ain't just Christians. Sellout Christians, sellout Muslims. Like it's this idea that God, oh God, this is God that. No, no, like because y'all approach to God as white. Y'all have a racial approach to God. Y'all don't have a principled approach to God. Y'all have so y'all play this game where we want to, good good isn't good unless white people say it's good. If you're Christian, good isn't good unless um uh was it Arab say it's good if you in Islam. Good isn't good unless Jewish people say it's good if you into Judaism. You get what I'm saying? It's like, but that goes the same way with bad too. Cause see, when people do bad, then it becomes you have to forgive 7 times 7. It's like whoa, 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 whoa. If you're a Christian, you do understand that people's choices and decisions is going to either put them in heaven or hell, right? Right? Yeah, yeah. Okay. If you if you Muslim, you understand that comes from that your judgment is of your own actions. Yeah. If you're Jewish Christianity, Judaism is pretty much the same thing. Really, all three of them pretty much the same thing. So now all of a sudden you get to be a complete sinner, and it's okay. But if this person does the exact same thing you doing, they going to hell. It's like, no, 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 no. We're not doing this. Because I get tired of the religious fatigue. Oh, God doesn't see. I can't trust how you see God when you see race and everything. I don't think God is as race based as you are. So now we have, that issue. Because I'm looking at you, because you telling me I see you like God sees you. No, no, no. You see me like white people see me. You see me like Arab people see me. You don't see me like God see me because you can't see God outside of a white lens or outside of an Arab lens or outside of an Asian lens. You can't. And I can tell that, you know, by the way you speak about your religious beliefs and your spiritual beliefs. It don't add up. So a lot of times, like the sellout fatigue stuff is, that's why I said black sellout fatigue, because you know people play one, do one thing, then they do the other, and it's like, nah, I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing, because it's arrogant. It's arrogant. And oh, see, Ray, I'm about to, boy, I'm not a perfect human being, man. I'm not. I've done some things that I'm not proud of. I think I've done way far more things that I am proud of than things that I'm not proud of. But the things that I'm not proud of harm me. And the reason I say that is, and what I'm about to say, you know, to Ray, if my Father in heaven cuts off unfruitful branches, so shall I. Well, the devil's children bear fruit too, and that's the issue. Some people don't know that, you know you know they're working for the devil with a Bible in their hand or a Quran in their hand, or a Torah in their hand. They're not working for God. You know what I'm saying? The Crusaders was murdering people left and right, talking about it was in the name of Jesus Christ. People don't realize that ideology still persists today. So that's part of being tired of sellouts. That's part of why even the black church has issues, because it's like, I'm not sure I'm not sure God is in this building anymore. I'm not gonna say I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure God is not in this building anymore, because you worship another idol. You worship the dollar, or you worship, race, or you worship a materialism. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so, people tired of that. So we have issues over and over and over again because of sellout fatigue. You know, He said God is used every day, but uh, I can. God don't care about control or profit. I know that for sure. God don't care about control because God doesn't. God doesn't. For I get you. I get you. I get you. You know, listen, but that what? Let me get into that about. It's not just Pastor Geno Jennings. This is also the sellout fatigue. A lot of people actually don't know history. Not, and I ain't even talking about 500 years ago. I'm talking about the last 100 years. So if I'm 45, I'm talking about 55 years before, like from 1925 to now. Most people don't know history from 1925 to 2025. The vast majority of people, let's just in America, in American history, don't know from 1925 to 2025. Why I'm saying that is bringing up Pastor Geno Jennings. He talks about preachers having a job. That's a real thing. That's been a real thing. That was a real thing in America for the longest. I know preachers right now who they preach because that's their calling, but they have another job because they have to pay the bills. I know that that exists to this day, but because most people don't know history, and since they don't know history, they can't put things together. They have things all out of context. And what I mean is, a lot of people, they just have today in context. They know what happened today. They know what happened this week. They know what happened maybe 2 months ago, but they can't put the last 10 years together. They can't put the last 25 years together. They can't put the last 50 years together. They can't put the last 100 years together because they don't have a good grasp of history. They don't have a good grasp of patterns. They don't have a good grasp of society and the changes in society. They just go, oh, well, we just gonna deal with today. And it's like, nah, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. Because if you can only deal with today, you don't know what got you to today. And since you don't know what got you to today, that means tomorrow you winging it too. It don't make no sense. Yeah. He said Warren. Nah, I ain't Warren Sapp. You Marvin. You talking about Marvin. And here's the crazy part. I don't have a problem with prosperity preachers, but I do have a problem with the way they do prosperity. See, it wasn't intended for you to give the church all your money and the church hoard it. No. It was intended for you to give the church all your money, and all of that money you make the community prosper. That's what that was for. You bring your tithes to the storehouse. You were supposed to bring everybody was a community to bring everything into the community and dole it out to the community as needed. That's what people were doing. They were bringing their extra in and doling it out to the community to give everybody equal footing or equal opportunity to be successful. But see, we forget that part because, like I said previously in other lives, people don't read the Bible. People don't know. People just quote the Bible. They don't read the Bible. They can't tell you, what all of Genesis is, or what all of Leviticus is, or what all of Exodus is. They can't tell you that. They can tell you a piece of this, a piece of this, a piece of that, a piece of that. Eve bit the apple. It wasn't an apple, but that's what we go with. Eve bit an apple, and Daniel was in the lion's den, and Moses walked, through the parted Red Sea. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, Jesus died on the cross. He rose again. David, killed Goliath with a rock. You know, like, oh, okay. You know, Job and Ruth. They play that game. The Old Testament. People don't. We're the first rainbow. No, I think you talk about Joseph. That's why Joseph got his brother. Joseph's brothers hated him. Yeah, by a giant catfish. That's cold blooded. But we know we know you put a name and a story together. But you don't. There are other things that happen. Because boys messed up. I gotta say this. Because y'all look at Samson and Delilah. Don't trust these broads. Adam and Eve. Don't trust these broads. And then it's like, you look at the story of David, man. Niggas could get jealous. Niggas get jealous. You got everything, but you jealous hearted. But then we don't remember the stories of Elijah and Elisha. We don't think about those stories. Wrestling an angel and all that. We don't get that. Faith wasn't just Daniel. Daniel and the lions. Then it was. I always mess up Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. I always mess up. Is it Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego? I can't never say all three of them right. But when an angel came to them in the furnace, people those stories aren't really told as much. But let push this back to the topic that it belongs. The sellout fatigue is that, like, people give you a piece of something, a piece of a story, and they want you to run with it, and they don't really know the whole story. They just know what helps them. Yeah, right. Because it was only two people in the Bible that went to heaven without experiencing death, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it was only two, Enoch and is it Enoch and Elijah? Or Enoch and Elisha? It wasn't Abraham. I don't think it was Abraham. Yeah. Hold up. Yeah, Elijah. Yeah. Okay. I was about to say. But when it comes to going back to the fatigue part, now we're in this era. And I'm gonna use the Bible, and even when they say we were in the age of Aquarian, right? What I see right now is, they call it the age of Aquarian, so it's the age of truth, right? People have a hard time with truth, to truth. Well, how can I say this? I'm not gonna say the evil that creates a sellout is America. Like I think I might have to have a deeper discussion about this. America is the evil that creates all of this dysfunction that America complains about. You get what I'm saying? So if you, the way America was created was all evil. It was all evil. Like we like to act like everything that you think that's good about this country was built on something evil. So unfortunately, evil is woven into America. It's just, and this is part of the sellout part. Like, there's a certain acceptance of evil as long as white people are doing it. That's an American thing. Like if white people do something evil, it's an American like, yeah, it's not a big deal. It's normal. And I'm not gonna say black people don't do bad stuff because when black people do bad stuff, it's over, it's over publicized because we don't do stuff at the clip of white people in this country. What country? Okay. I'm gonna say it this way. Europe in itself, colonial, with colonizing imperialism, they've actually spread more evil in the world than everywhere because they've meddled in everybody else's good. That's from my historical reference, everything that people were doing that was good, Europe, the United States blew it up. Literally and figuratively blew it up. So there was a lot of good in Asia, blew that up. There was a lot of good in Africa, blew that up. There was a lot of good in Central and South America, blew that up. There's a lot of good in North America, blew that up. There's a lot of good in the islands, blew that up. But as far like with the United States, it's like, the United States of America is so evil, it corrupted Christianity. You know what I'm saying? Like the best thing is supposed to be our God-loving Christian values, and that's based on, that's all evil. The foundation is all wrong, all evil. It's based on, racism and money. All bad. The concept of meritocracy in America, all bad. All evil. Somebody asked me, did I want to do a movie review on Sinners? I saw Sinners yesterday with my wife, and I was laughing because at the end of the day, this is messed up. I'm gonna say this, but Sinners, was a movie basically saying black people, a couple of black people had to do a bunch of dirt to put themselves in a position to feel free for one day. For one day. That's the thing, like, you don't have to. Here's one thing I've learned over the years about dealing with people, just on a principle thing. Dealing with people who are degenerate, if you can separate yourself from degenerate people, but you're going to have to protect yourself from separation, they'll destroy themselves. Because a lot of times, degenerate people need somebody to blame for their degeneracy. They need an excuse. If you take away their excuse, they disintegrate, they implode, and subsequently, this is where we are in America right now. This is why you see all the stuff you see right now. Like, and do I have an issue with President Trump? No. But this ain't the first time. This ain't the second time. This ain't the 15th time in America where white people felt like we have to be, we have to be in charge the white way, and it doesn't work out the way they plan, because the way they see the world is not the way the world sees itself. This is why you're having an issue with China. This is why you're having an issue with Central and South America. This is why America's having an issue, you know, about to have an issue with Africa, because this is why it's having an issue with the islands, because the world is starting to see itself differently than the European or white lens, and it's causing a problem. And when I say black sellout fatigue, a lot of what I'm talking about today is there are a lot of black people who like it the way it is. And a lot of times they like it the way it is because they're benefiting from it. They're getting something out of it. They're profiting from it. So they like it the way it is. Even if it's at the expense of their own people. As long as they win it, it's okay. No, it's Trump isn't the issue. Well, Trump is the issue, but he ain't the issue. It's the same issue that's always been. You can't have people in charge who don't know how to do the work. That's always a bad, like if you built a company from the ground, if you built the company, a lot of companies are built from the ground up. So a person who builds a company from the ground up knows the ins and outs of what's going on. And if they have kids, they want their kids to start from the bottom so they can know the ins and outs of what's going on. So, but what happens is you get past that, and then you get people who they don't know the ins and outs. They're just looking at the bottom line. There is no checks and balances at this point. There is no checks and balances. There are the huge you can't have segregation in America anymore. That's here's the thing. White America ruined segregation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it did. Like, when black people were building stuff for their own, white America ruined it. They did. White America doesn't want segregation. White America wants to be close enough to you that they hope they had to see if they got better stuff than you. So you can't have segregation in America because of that. Because if you have segregation, that means everybody's building on their own. That's where all of these rules and regulations come from. Because people don't want people to actually grow on their own. That's a problem in America. Trump ain't been in office that long, but checks and balances is like, basically, what I've seen so far from President Trump's presidency is, I'm gonna just fuck up some shit and create some chaos, and then put it back to how it was in the beginning. And what I mean is, let's just say, if the company is making, let's just use it as a company. If the company is making $1 million a month, basically he come into the company and fuck it up, and the company's now making $50,000 a month, and people are in panic because he done fucked it up. And then he put it back to making $1 million a month again, and everyone go, "Oh, he's doing good." Like, no, he just fucked it up for no reason. Like, he just fucked it up to make it like he was doing something good. Like, there's no vision in this country. And that's a problem. Like, America doesn't have vision. And that's part of the racial issue with America. America doesn't have good vision because everything's built on race. You can't bring industry black to America. That's the problem. It's too late. Think about that. And I don't mean to be a cold person about it, but I get what you're saying. Trump can't bring back industry into America, and that's the like America and Europe have the same issue: laziness. You can't bring back an industry to America because Trump is one of the people who benefited off of it being lazy. The overhead cost is too much. No, it's not. It don't. That's not. Let me tell you. Well, let me pivot right quick. Let me pivot right quick. All these companies gonna have to come back to America anyways, and I'm gonna tell you why. The world don't care about uh, intellectual property and patents like America does. Like, well, I ain't gonna say the world. Like, the world doesn't care about intellectual properties and patents outside of Europe, United States, and Australia, because Europe, the United States, and Australia have always screwed people over with intellectual properties and patents. So the world is just bootlegging now. And the reason why the world can bootleg is because the United States of America and Europe gave the world the keys because they felt like they was better than everybody. Work is above them, right? So since work is above them, you don't work. You gotta take into consideration these companies. These companies left for a reason. They left because they didn't want to pay their workers. They wanted to pay people pennies. And in all honesty, and it's no nice way to do it, but okay. So slavery was free labor for hundreds of years. Jim Crow was basically sharecropping that free labor for another 100 years. And then you had, civil rights was the 60s, right? So basically, and what made everything work was it World War One, I want to say? Basically, the World War One or two, I think it was one though. Europe basically bombed each other to hell. So the United States of America was keen on manufacturing because they didn't have plants in Europe like that. World War One and World War Two by the end of it. But so everything you got became, because United States manufacturing, because everything was bombed. Japan was bombed. All of Europe was bombed. Some of the Middle East was bombed, if I'm not mistaken, and Asia was bombed. Europe, Asia, yeah, Middle East, and they was just pillaging Africa. Africa wasn't bombed because it wasn't at war. So you have that. So by the time, let's just say the 80s came, they started moving. They started moving these companies. 80s, 90s, really. 90s, really. They started moving these companies everywhere and abroad to make more money. They knew what they was doing. Yeah, no, it never really competed. It never competed. So this idea that so what wound up happening was when people was like, oh, we're gonna just take all the manufacturing jobs because that's supposed to be low skill. You took all the manufacturing jobs and you said we took them abroad. Think about it this way. The manufacturing jobs leaving the United States and the United States infrastructure stopped being built is the same time period. That's why the roads are as old as they are. That's why the bridges are as old as they are. That's why the train tracks is as old as they are. Because these motherfuckers stopped building then. Because they didn't want to pay people to make it better. When's the last time you heard of a railroad being made better? since we need the railroads. When's the last time you heard of a national project to make the actual freeways of America better? You saw little stops here and there in cities and states, but when's the last time we're gonna fix I-10? We're gonna fix I-20. We're gonna fix, you know what I'm saying, 55. We're gonna fix like 95. You ain't heard none of that. When's the last time you hear we got to fix the United States grids? You don't hear that type of stuff because they've been working with old ass equipment for 50, 60 years. They don't care. So no, they're not finna bring back nothing. And think about the companies we talking about. Who's really abroad? Apple, Nike, you know. But what's most important is they took agriculture out of America. Think about that. You took agriculture, the FDA and all that, took agriculture out. Look, we can't eat certain fruits. We can't eat certain vegetables. We can't eat, we get our meat from here. We get our grapes from there. We get our, it's like, bro, the steel mills. Oh, we don't have American steel anymore. Why not? You never upgraded the plants? Yeah, you get the medicine from China. Like, what are we talking about? But we have all of this ingenuity in America. And people didn't put two and two together. And I hate to say it this way. People didn't put two and two together because the issue was, even with medicine, because the United States had they said the part of the business model was, we're going to take these intellectual properties, we're going to keep the intellectual properties, we're going to keep the patents, and we're going to put them in the third world countries, and they're going to build this stuff for pennies, and we could sell it for dollars here. But what they didn't tell you was the reason why they were so gung-ho about a lot of that shit is because they had stolen intellectual properties from other people any damn way. So they had no vision what to do with it in the future. Think about it. They didn't invent the cell phone. They didn't invent the helicopter. They didn't invent a lot of the household items in America. They didn't invent, you know what I'm saying, the security system. They didn't invent the refrigerator. They didn't invent a lot of this shit. So they didn't care to grow it and build it and maintain it. They cared to profit off of it. So because all of these quote unquote corporations and businesses wanted to profit, they ruined this stuff. Because of all of that, it was all profit, no thought. So when you in America and you go, man, how come they don't have a cure for, they ain't cured nothing in the world since polio? Interestingly enough. But people think about the smartest people go to Harvard, and these smart people at Harvard ain't done a damn thing smart yet. The best thing you got out of Harvard so far was Facebook. And that's crazy, but that's the reality of it. They think being smart is having hedge funds. That's not smart. Taking other people's money and betting against other people's, stocks and, betting for it or against it. So you just gambling. So the best we got is gambling. It's like, okay, from the smartest minds. I understand. We couldn't get, and some of y'all don't realize this. President Carter was into the green energy initiative, and that was the 70s. That was the late 70s. So they put green energy away in the late 70s. And now we talking about Teslas now and electric cars now because they stopped it then. No vision. They talked about being healthier in the 70s and the 80s, eating better in the 70s and the 80s. And now we're the fattest of probably every American generation ever. Why? Stupidity. Most people don't even know how to fish. Most people don't, won't learn how to actually grow their own food, have a garden. Most people don't know how to do it or won't even put the work in to do it. People think they can make money just doing TikTok all damn day. We don't, America doesn't have a business IQ anymore. And business in America is just like the movie Sinners. A black person come along, buy something from a white person, and the white person try to kill him at the end of the day so they and get back the land and the money. It's crazy. Auto industry is right. So and now you got these overpriced cars that's breaking down because they putting janky engines in them. If you had a V6 that's been working for 20 years or a V8 that's been working for 20 years, why the hell you gonna take that V8 and make it a V6 and put a turbo on it? Or take that V6 and make it a 4-cylinder and put a turbo on it? And then why these cars not working like they used to? Cause you done fucked them up. Don't make it don't make sense to you yet. This is the world we living in. You know. Now I'm gonna tell you the interesting part about that. It's not the warranty that's the problem. The major part, the engines actually, if you get the right engine, they last longer than most cars. Regular parts, wear and tear, brakes, shit like that. But the smaller parts of that engine that could cut shit off, the little sensors, that could just that cut off and your car don't even work no more. Oh, that's your problem. Everybody need an OBD2 scanner. Oh, is it ODB or OBD? But they need a scanner. You know what I'm saying? All these electric. Yeah. But that's what it's for. That's what it's for. The engines don't. Yeah, thank you. OBD2. Like, you find out what's really wrong with your car. You take it to a mechanic. Oh man, we got to use the scanner on it, and it take 3-4 days to use the scanner. We can't figure it out, but you can put a OBD on your shit and find out in 5 minutes or less. You know what? Thank you for what is truly next in society. For America's not going forward. America's going down. See, I was talking to my aunt this morning. America and Europe they're not, America and Europe are never going to be the same. Ever again. And the reason why America can't go forward because America didn't do the one thing it should have done 15 years ago. And 15 years ago is 2010. Damn. I could say 20 years ago actually. America needs to fix the deficit. See, America can't fix the deficit. America's so deep in debt, and we play this game. American politicians and American people go, "Oh, it's not a big deal, man. We're $30 trillion in debt. It's not a big deal, man. We got money everywhere." No, the fuck, this country don't. America is broke. The United States of America is broke. Pretty much the whole Western Hemisphere is broke. Is broke. And the question is, how is everybody so broke? How is everybody so broke? And what are they doing to fix it? I'm gonna find this right now, because the world debt clock. I'm gonna show you how many countries are in the red. The USA is in the red. Let's see. Okay, so right now our GDP is $30 trillion. Our national debt is 36 trillion. Right now, China's GDP is $18 trillion. Their national debt is 16 trillion. Germany, $4 trillion GDP, national debt 3.5. Japan is bad. India on the cusp. The UK is in the red. France is in the red. Italy in the red. Brazil almost at the red. Canada in the red, just by a little bit. Argentina's up. Let's see. Australia not in the red yet. Belgium in the red. Greece in the red. Indonesia is doing great. Ireland are doing good. Korea doing good. Mexico, all right. The Netherlands, all right. Nigeria, way great. They just ain't doing the right things with the money. Norway, doing good. Poland, doing good. Portugal, in the red. Russia, doing real damn good. That don't even make no sense. Saudi Arabia, killing it. Spain, in the red. Sweden, doing all right. Switzerland, doing all right. Taiwan, doing all right. Turkey, doing all right. America's so broke they turn your debt. I'm sorry. Okay. Like the US debt clock right now is 36 trillion and 842 billion. That's the national debt and counting. The gross GDP is basically 30 trillion and 2 billion. Japan is like 4 times, like Japan's GDP is like $4 trillion, like 4 trillion 181 billion. Their national debt is 12 trillion 131 billion. It's done with. They can't fix this. And the reason why I say they can't fix this because they're not paying attention to it. And if anybody who knows math, y'all know this is a issue, because usually you can hit a number if you ain't making enough money and you don't have the ability to he said, bro, the debt is a scam. No, they can't. They can't wipe it out. That's the problem. That's the problem. It's a bullshit idea to say, oh, they could wipe it out in a day. Because if they could wipe it out in a day, they would have wiped it out by now. Oh, for sure. Oh, bro, you're right. I've never been to Japan. But I got plenty of friends that are soldiers that lived in Japan. Nobody says bad things about Japan. It says it's clean, it's cool, people are nice. But if your ass can't speak Japanese, they don't play. They on time, but the debt is the debt. There is that overworking in Japan. There is that the young people, young people dying from overworking and not wanting to work. Old people dying from being in the house. I get it. I get it. I'm out of the box. They can't wipe shit off. And I wasn't just talking about, honestly, I wasn't talking about Japan. I'm just giving the debt that they asked for. But if you Japanese, you Asian, you know math. The math is not good. The math isn't good. That if it's your personal finances and you're that in debt, it's a hard way to get out. It's a hard way to get out. I think Japan's worst problem is their issue. Y'all with Japan's been so in bed with America. You should have been in bed with China, even though y'all been beefing for some dumbass reason for centuries. That made no sense. That makes no sense to me. You've been beefing with China for centuries, and now it's like, yeah, y'all should be cool, man. Y'all should be cool. Japan, Indonesia, China, Korea, y'all should all be on the same damn team. Vietnam, Singapore, y'all should all be on the same damn team. It don't make no damn sense. I got it. I can't read that. But it is what it is. If they wipe out the debt, you effectively make no, that's not true. Okay, hold up. My bad. Okay, let me do it this way. The dollar was worth more 25 years ago. In some of the ways, I know the United States mess with people's economy. The dollar, that's a problem. It's not a scam. Only, it's a problem. Think a big. I get it. I get what you're saying. Yeah. I hope so. Like but no, like I don't think if I will be completely and thoroughly honest, this is what I would say. I think most first world countries got so far into technology that the shit that actually makes money, they abandon it and don't know how to do the shit anymore to mass produce things. To mass produce things that the world could use. That goes for America. That goes for Europe. Japan to a degree. Like I never understood how Japan got in so much fucking debt in the first place. Except for those damn bonds that the US was jamming their ass up about. That was trifling. That whole bond thing, that was trifling. But the debt you can't wipe it away because you got to pay it off. And the question is, if you don't pay it off, everything gets worse. That's what all this inflation is about. You can't just ruin the world and go. That's why I feel like I'm stammering when I just did that. That's why the G9 and BRICS are two different entities. When you look at the G9, G9 used to be way bigger than, is it G9 or G12 or whatever? It used to be bigger than that. But basically, the BRICS has more people than the G9, G12. Way more now. BRICS has basically the majority of the world. So now we're in this situation where the United States and the countries that are with the United States are all on a decline. And basically all the countries in BRICS are all increasing. So now you got a problem. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure y'all got. No. You might. I'll say this: Japan has been known to do great things for decades, but you don't have as much capacity as other places. You have great capacity for the size of your country, for sure. But I, because if I'm not mistaken, Indonesia's bigger. China's definitely bigger. Singapore got a lot of shit going on. So is Japan big? Yeah, but in a long term, I don't think it's beating those countries. Not right now. Not right now. You know, things could change, but not right now. The only right and that's a problem. If you don't fix the dollar, you know what we talking about. Like for the United States, if you don't fix the dollar, what we talking about? No, like man, Japan does a lot, bro. Um, let me say this. I think the problem, Thomas, just from my point of view, fam. He said for anime, but that's true too. But I think Japan did the same thing the United States and Europe did. They got too into luxury with the highest people, and the country felt like the floor had to be luxurious, so it just ruined the country. You know, and they didn't ruin the country, but it ruined the mindset of the people. Like you can't keep it's not as productive as it used to be. So it is what it is. But going back to the US dollar, there's no plan to pay this money back. There's no plan to fix the deficit. Not no plan at all. Democrats ain't doing it. Republicans ain't doing it. The Senate ain't figured it out. The presidents ain't figured it out. The cabinet ain't figured it out. Everybody's just doing dumb stuff. Dumb stuff. Right. Yeah, that's and I get it. But you can't make, but what is the high tech being used for? Think about it. Like, what is like, seriously, what is the high tech being actually used for? It ain't fixed shit. High tech is just a word for high tech now. You know what I'm saying? It's being used for nothing really productive. High tech ain't really helping the medical industry. So it ain't helping people get better. It ain't helping people get healthier. That's a problem. High tech is used for cars, telephones, transactions. High tech ain't helping education. It's actually making people dumber. High tech ain't helping. How can I say this? High tech ain't helping business deals per se, because people don't want tech to be used because it's getting people in trouble. What if they revalue girl at 12? Shit. They're not gonna revalue. Okay. Let's just say this. And I get what you're saying. Let's just say you owed me. No, let me reverse this. Let's just say I owed you $1 million, right? And I only brought in $800,000 a year, and I still got to pay the debt down and all that other stuff. But I got gold on me. I got some gold, expensive gold or whatever, and the gold is like $2,000 an ounce, right? And then I magically say, you know what? Now my gold is worth $12,000 an ounce. So now my gold is worth 6 times more than it was. So now I'm gonna just give you the gold. You're not gonna take that fucking money. And the reason why I'm gonna tell you you're not gonna take that money, because even if it inflated like that, you're not finna take less. Because you're like, no. If my gold went up 6 times, my debt gonna go up 6 times. That's how fucking America works. It's crazy enough, But it's like, nah, you're not finna lowball me, dog, because somebody just arbitrarily said this costs more. Now we good. They're not gonna do that because the people that are old are not gonna take that. They gonna say, nah, we need you mathematically be in this predicament. You don't get a magical bullet to get out of this shit. I hate that. That's just the way it comes off. This is in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. No, it ain't Trump, just Trump. But I'll say this. Uh the problem with the debt is to me is just two simple things. One, the United States ain't budgeting the GDP right to pay down anything on the debt. You can't pay it all off, fine. But you telling me you can't take $1 trillion a quarter? That if we bring it, if the GDP is $30 trillion, you mean to tell me you can't every 3 months put $1 trillion to the debt? That's a problem. That's a problem because since you never gonna pay it down, you never see your way out of it. Because you got to remember, there were years that the GDP was way above the debt. It was like the GDP. The country went from being in a surplus to being all the way in debt. It's crazy, But the second thing I would say about the debt would be this: you're gonna have to invest in the. If you want to actually bring down the debt, you're gonna have to actually invest in American workers to produce more. Because if we don't have any products for the world to buy, the debt ain't going nowhere. Because we buy everything from everywhere else. We buy our food from other places. We buy our clothes from other places. We buy our tech from other places. Shit. America, like all these guns, we buy our guns from other places. True be told. You get what I'm saying? Glock ain't American. I don't think Mossberg is American. The AK-47s, a lot of these they're not American, companies. So if we don't build anything in America that the world buys, we're never gonna profit. We're never gonna be able to get in a profitable situation. So it's one or the other, Roosevelt, you're right. Roosevelt revalued gold in 33. And what did they do after that? They took the dollar off of gold after that. And that's why I say people ain't finna play that game, especially with the United States of America. They revalued gold and then took the dollar off of the gold standard maybe 20 years after that, 20, 30 years after that. So nobody's playing that game with the United States or the world because people didn't see the hustle back then. Because the dollar was taken off. I'm gonna find out. Dollar was taken off of the gold standard in 71. 30 something years after that, they took the dollar off of the gold standard. Nobody's playing that game. You know what I'm saying? What normally happens with any debt is the same thing you do if you went to a jeweler. When you go to a jeweler and you bought something for $30,000, right? Now you go, oh man, let me sell it back for 30. They're gonna go, I can give you 22. I guess you wore it, it's used, but it's solid gold. But it's not 24 karat, it's 14, and it look like they skimmed off the top. They gonna lowball you. That's what they gonna do. That's how they roll. So people are screwed, man. Like the only thing the United States has over the world is guns. The military is what, like, the dollar used to be backed by gold, but since the 70s, it's been backed by the military. It's been backed by the gold. The dollar's worth something, or we're gonna shoot you. That's pretty much what it's been backed by. It's not gonna help. But going back, that's true. There is no like okay, what what does America export? Think about that. And being black, being a black American in America, to know that, not that long ago, the number like 2 or 3 export in America was music, that should have let you know that America was fucking up. Because the biggest exports, what is our biggest export? USA. Our biggest exports is mineral fuels and mineral like oils and fuel, machinery, nuclear reactors, boilers, electrical equipment, and vehicles. It's not good, man. Do they need the oil from America? No. And so oil has been the biggest export in America since 2008. It went from aircrafts to integrated circuits to oil. But we import too much shit. Exports of goods. Like, this is not good, man. Like, people not buying a lot from us right now. Like, we're exporting soybeans, corn, animal feed. Like, this is not good. The country's screwed. 73. So if the world been off of the gold standard since if you want to go with 72, if the world been off of the gold standard since 72, what that tell you? 72. So 52 years? 72 is 53 years. Sorry. 53 years, and 53 years after the gold standard, everybody broke. What'd that tell you? People didn't know what the hell they was doing. They didn't know what the hell they was doing. I was on here for 2 hours, man. No offense, man. I'll fuck with y'all, man, but I gotta take my goofy ass to sleep. It's 10:30. It's past my curfew. I'm gonna shut this thing down, man. I really appreciate y'all rocking with me. We went from one topic to something completely different. So I'm gonna get up out of here. Hold up. I'm gonna put the outro on, man, and y'all have a great one. Yeah, man. I'm tripping.
It looks like a job for Superman.
Do this,
Spoken from the lips of the young or the old, fear of me.
Yeah. Gotta put it all in.
And they are Superman.
All the way.
I guess I'm taking off the cake through the glasses in the trash. Being super is great, saving y'all is such a drag. Even God took a break, me I ain't coming back. I got one life to live, if you don't like it, that's your ass. Cause nobody saved me, plus when I'm drunk, I'm just a peon. I could use somebody just like I'm the kings of neon. This world is cold as ice, mixed with salt, mixed with freon. They got me pissed off, but that's better than being peed on. For eons, human beings took kindness for weakness. When you constipated, you start to appreciate shit. Put before you life and death, and you just gotta choose. The kryptonite life means you should follow the rules. If your credit's messed up or your bills ain't paid, then it's getting disconnected. Can't nobody say the day. And I can fly, leave a building in a single bound, but I can't stand fair weather friends, and I just fly around. My super friends is Justice League. Only folk I kick it with. Kill Lex Luthor, so what? We had to finish it. Kids play games and adults play for keeps. And me, I play to win, but I ain't playing in these streets. And life is not a joke. Then again, it ain't this serious. Superman can say the day, but God can say the Superman. Saga of the kryptonite, life just ended. You enjoy listening? Man, I'll finish it.
Lois, come holler at me. listen? I knew you would like it because we made it. I'm so frigid and so fly.